Alright, welcome back to the next part of the play guide and playthrough to Majora's Mask. Sorry about the camera there. Just sort of slipped. In the last part, we went and got the boss key in the last of the Stray Fairies, and in this part, we're going to be fighting this dungeon's boss. Alright. So, we got this giant robot goat thing, and you gotta shoot it with a fire arrow. So you might notice a little bit of sound issues here. That's because I'm using the GameCube version. Anytime there's a lot of lag and sound issues, that's just because the GameCube version is not nearly as good as the other ones. It's just all I have for the original that I can record. Alright, so this is Goat, or Got, whatever you want to say. And this fight was changed a lot in the 3DS version because he tended to do this kind of thing more. And let me just show how you attack him first, then we'll get into it. So this is probably one of the most fun bosses in the game. What you gotta do is run up to him and just ram him. Watch out for his lightning bolts and his magic missiles, I guess. They look a lot like magic missiles. Remember to roll through these green jars to pick up some magic to replenish your health. Not health, magic. So just chase after him and ram him a few times. And this is damaging him, by the way. This is all you gotta do. In the 3DS version, your goal wasn't to... Actually, I'm gonna have to show that. If I don't, I'll just explain it later. Sorry. This time, just roll up behind him. In the 3DS version, you were supposed to use those jumps to hit him in the back and knock him down. You can still do that in this one, but it's a lot harder to do. That was the only way to damage him in the 3DS version. You weren't damaging him by rolling into him. You had to knock him down, and then a giant glowing eye would pop out of his back and you had to shoot it. Not kidding. That is one of the changes I absolutely cannot stand between the 3DS version and this one, is that every single boss was just changed to shoot the glowing eye. Because we haven't seen that before in Zelda. That's completely original. But in this version, you just ram into him and it's a lot more fun. He starts to get a few more attacks as it goes on, like now he's kicking up rocks. Now he's throwing stalactites everywhere, and I believe eventually he even shoots bombs at you. He's always got this, like, laser lightning thing, so watch out for that. That's only if he gets a certain distance away from you, though. So if you can't see him, kind of do a little bit of a zigzag to avoid that attack. But mostly, just keep bumping into him. That's how you win this fight. In the 3DS version, you gotta knock him down and shoot his glowy eye. You can see he's starting to short out a little bit. I believe after long enough, he starts to throw bombs at you after that. And don't get caught up on the stalactites like that. As I said, hitboxes in this game are pretty picky. Another thing to mention, you know how Link got run over by him pretty much in the intro? That wasn't in the Japanese version. It was changed for the North American version to include that. And yes, that was still in the 3DS version. Watch out for the magic missiles, as always. You can get a ton of damage done on him if you can get just the right angle in the roll when he's knocked down. This is one of the reasons I'm glad we're playing the original N64 version, or at least the GameCube port of that version. Because this boss fight is just not nearly as fun in the 3DS version, because it's still like this chaotic dodge thing when you're just chasing a robotic goat down a hallway. It's just not as fun to shoot the freaking eye with the arrows. Why can't we just bash into him? Well, looks like I complained him to death. Okay, not really. Just ram into him enough times, he'll short out and ram into the wall and pretty much just get blown up. Also, interesting thing to point out. Goat here was actually not the monster that the Goron people were talking about that was causing the blizzard. That was actually the Goron we saw blowing the blizzard in front of the temple. Now, it might be Goat who was controlling that Goron, because yes, he was possessed pretty much. But either way, Goat was not the one causing the blizzard directly. So grab your heart container and step into the blue light and get Goat's remains. Once again, this isn't a mask. It's just a key item. Every time you step into the circle, you'll go back to human form, by the way. I've always loved these scenes, personally. So, we learn a little more about the giants here. They were actually the protective gods of the 4 worlds of Termina. So, I'll cut that part out and end the part here.